All right. So what were your inspirations? I mean, when does the military start to become a real focus? I mean, when does that start to pop in
I
your
can
head?
really remember. I was probably 10, 11. And my dad, I might have been 9. My dad had this thing at the college where it was a patriotic event, and we had Walter Mondale. Oh, I can't remember. Jackson, Reagan, and they had these masks on, and this was a big thing at the college, but my dad brought in the recruiters, local recruiters. And so when they got there in their dress uniforms, well, I already had a thing for the military because both of my grandparents, my grandpas, were World War II veterans. One went over, one didn't, but they were both served. So one was killed in the line of duty in 1945. So 7 days before my father was born, he was killed by an MG-34 in an ambush. So we were very patriotic family. So I was kind of born into it. But when I saw those guys walk through those doors, I'd never seen them. You know what I mean? And I was just standing there and I'm like, holy smokes, they're perfect. They're squared away. Everything looks sharp. That's what you want from your military. When I had these grander thoughts of military, if they'd have walked in there any less than their dress uniforms, I probably wouldn't have. No, but it's just been a lifelong thing. And my whole family are servants. Dad and mom taught us to be servants and to give back. And, so of course, we had preachers and everything come out of the family. There were 4 boys and 5 girls. And just never, got that call, or I always felt, I don't know. It just worked out weird, but that's kind of how I fell in love with the military, through my father and my mother. And of course my older siblings influenced me because they were already patriotic because of my mom and dad. And then, I didn't even know the truth of everything yet, but I was very patriotic.
Sure.
But that would have got me fired up right there. The day I saw them guys walk through the door, I was like, oh my goodness,
Were you the first in your family? As far
yes.
as, okay.
Yeah. I have, like I said, 8 siblings. All of them are somewhat in the ministry. They do other things from, they do all kinds of things. But, I mean, it was just what was the question again?
Just you were the first.
I was very first.
In your immediate family.
From both grandparents, from any of my uncles and aunts and my cousins and everybody, because my grandpa's family lost 3 out of their 13 kids in World War II, 3 boys, or 2 boys, I'm sorry, but like 5 went to war.
Gotcha.
So the family's just, it was World War II, man, and they took a beating. And, the family had lost 2, 5 had been in there. And my mom and dad's mom's side had served as well, her father, and they were just getting away from war. You know what I mean? And so the next generation didn't do it. We've got, construction highway builders that own companies that built the highways around Lake Anna and all that stuff. We've got my dad who his passion was to serve Jesus Christ and be a preacher and to spread the word of the gospel. So he came from nothing. He didn't have a father. The military paid because his dad was killed in war to send him to God's Bible School, where he met my mom, because my mom's from Columbus, Indiana. They'd never met. So,
wow.
Yeah, but I was the first one. Now I have some nephews, and both of my sons, or all 3 of my sons, have served. So this is the one's Coast Guard right here. This is when he graduated. He's stationed in Honolulu right now, the youngest.
Okay.
The other one was a Navy captain for the Poseidon, where he just a ground crew. And then my other one was 3rd Ranger Battalion in the Army. So, wow. But yeah, since I was the very first one, I'm sorry I went off on that.
No, you're right. Cool. What made you choose Army over the rest of them?
I don't like water. And I don't want to go to the Air Force.
I get you.
So, but both of my grandpas were Army too. So I was already partial. Walked in, talked to a Marine recruiter one time. And he said, and I didn't realize the Marines went out on a ship at the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know the Navy carried him around. And he's like, and he started talking about a mute and going out and all this stuff. And I was like, well, you live on a ship? He's like, yeah, dude. I'm like, nah, bro. I lost all interest. I just wanted to blow stuff up.
Amen.
So did you do that? Were you thinking that like in high school as soon as you graduated high school?
No, I was thinking
what?
going to play baseball.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of my passion. I had thoughts of that, but life happens and babies come along and when she got pregnant, I went and I signed up and said, it took me a while to get to basic, but I said, I'm going to have a future here. And I love my country. I mean, come on. Yeah. Live in the greatest country in the world. So
Amen.
If you don't believe that, then you should probably move.
Yeah.
That's 2000-ish. What time?
That was 1991, 92, and 93. I went in the Army in 93. I retired in 2015.
I got you.
Wow.
So you were embedded 10 years before 9/11 hit. I mean, you were in the Army.
Well, I had a little break. Well, I was still IRR, but I had a little break, and then of course 9/11 happened, and then I went straight back.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't even. You couldn't have kept me out of that war.
Yeah.
Everything I've gotten from war, good and bad, I deserve.
Yeah.
Because I made a very conscious decision.
Awesome.
That day driving down 95 when the Twin Towers were hit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, nope. My grandpa went to war. He lost his life. My other one didn't. They were men. Yeah. I come from them. This is the greatest country, and you ain't coming over here and killing our people.
Amen.
You know what I mean? I don't care if I have to sweep up after everybody. Just put me on the team.
Yeah.
I just want to find my niche so I can be of use to the United States,
That's
wow.
So.
All right. So where was your basic at?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Missouri.
Engineer. I just wanted to blow stuff up. That's what I told my recruiter. And that's, I qualified for other jobs. She tried to get me to take. I said, no, where do I blow stuff up? So they sent me to Combat Engineers, 12 Bravo, to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri in 93. Absolutely loved it. And, I was already an athlete, so I was in shape, so like I got there and basic was, other than getting strep throat in the first 2 weeks and still continuing, but basic was, we stayed with our drill sergeants 14 weeks because we did basic and AIT together. So it was like 101 days. AIT basically is where you learn your skill. So basic is, you're going to go in there, you're going to lose your, learn, drill, basic rifle marksmanship, all these different things, all the things to make you a squared away soldier. And then after that, you go to your, to what is your MOS. So mine was 12 Bravo, but the way it's set up at Leonard Wood at the time was your drill sergeants kept you from the day you got there till the day you graduated engineer school, which I thought was awesome, because we had it was a great school, and you're messing with explosives. So you got to have trust, and, it was just a good way the Army had it set up. I loved every bit of it.
Cool. All right. So after you get that, where are you headed then?
I do that, and I do infantry for a little bit, and then I get out.
Okay.
To IRR, and then still connected, but out a little bit, and then 9/11 happened. So I went and just said, "Hey, I want to go now." Mm-hmm. So the only thing I had was an engineer unit, was a National Guard unit, and from the 28th Infantry Division, and 337th Engineers. Which is cool about that is it's the oldest unit in the military, Benjamin Franklin's.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? So I have a coin, the last coin that came from that unit. I got coin because I got deployed with them. On their last mission ever, we went to Kosovo with EOD. And back when they were still wearing flak vests and stuff early on. And it started everything, came back, went to 19 Delta School, 30-day school for them. Me and another guy got everything right, did everything right. He got honor grad, and the guys told me, we're going to coin you, but we want to talk to you afterwards. And the master sergeant and the colonel came up. I was leaving they said, we want to talk to you. I just went back to barracks, started packing. They came up and said, hey, you're not going anywhere. So that's back when Rumsey was standing up the striker brigades. They had one in Fort Lewis and one at the 28th Infantry Division. People don't really know the 28th Infantry Division is a monster. It's the second largest by number, I think. Or it used to be. I think California's number one just because of the size, but it has a ton of active duty. They were, I mean, they have a very rich history of just, you know, they're deployed all the time. And these were all my guys, man. And I'm talking about some awesome people. Of course, so I started teaching, and then we stood up that striker brigade that I actually got deployed with. So they took some of us instructors and put us in, you know, different places. And
is that Kosovo, or is that?
No, this was going to Iraq.
Going to Iraq.
I was going to Iraq, and but they were, you know, we train. I'll tell you what. All I got to say about citizen soldiers are they're amazing, dude. Like, because in your active duty, you get up every morning and you have a platoon, right? And you're going to PT together.
Yeah.
And your battle buddy is going to make sure you're squared away because you got to show up formation every day, twice, right? So these National Guard guys because the National Guard got crushed. I mean, they lost a lot of people in that war. And, but you got to be like all squared away, but yet you got to go home, deal with your kids, and you got to go to a civilian job, and then you got to pull yourself out, but you got to train. Yeah. You know, you got all these requirements you got to keep up with. That's a hard job, man. I got so much respect for those people. And I love the 29th. I love the 29th, you know. I love the 28th. There's so many great people in the 28th. My whole career really ended up, I was with 166 Regiment. And, but I went to combat with Bravo Troop, 2nd 104th Cav. And it was just, you know, it was an experience. Like, I had a whole different world than most guys, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I just lived, it just happened, and I was willing to do anything.
So is that still combat engineering type roles? Or
No, I got transferred.
Cavalry type?
Okay, so I have 3 MOSs, infantry, 11 Bravo, 19 Delta, and 12 Bravo. The reason I rolled so good into the 19 Deltas was because I had combat. Those are the 3 combat MOSs really to start with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
From basic and AIT. So you start with those 3. So I had, you know, explosives and the scouts do everything. I mean, the 19 Deltas, they do, their book is huge because you're doing everything from route classification to anything you can think of. We do explosives like engineers. We do all the infantry tasks. Plus we have all this route reconnaissance, which is, you know, is you go out and, you know, snoop and poop and get to where you can, everything from a radius of a curve to a slope to the running water in case we have to forward something, but you got to do this undercover. So it's a little, you know, it's just, it was so much fun. I mean, I loved it. Yeah. If I wasn't injured, I'd still be active.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. Yeah. It was just, I got paid to do that stuff. Yeah. War sucked, you know, like there's times that things sucked, but like I got to shoot. Dude, I was running 50 cal Rangers, Mark 19s, you know, all the 240 Bravos, M60s back in the day, you know, like.
Dude, you know one thing I love about this segment that we're doing? Like you're saying things like he and I have no idea about a third of what you're saying.
I'm so
we're
sorry.
No. That's just cool. This is what we love. I mean, that's right now.
We
But my favorite line is, if we had another caption of Veteran Voices, is war sucked. I mean, you just said it like I said that menu was bad. You know what I mean? No, that's just so cool.
Yeah.
And you were in you were in the heat of everything at that time, right? I mean,
we were. We weren't like Rolling Thunder. This was 08, so we were trying to nation build.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult thing when they shooting at you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So really it got down to where we were just, you know, we had a town called Sababor. And our mission obviously was not to take anything off anybody, do a lot of presence patrols to make people feel safe, and then gather intel. And then we had targets and stuff that we needed to take care of or we need to deal with. But we were, you know, like I built this relationship with this one oil guy, okay? And we actually raided the compound of his family, I think it was him, the 3 big compounds. And we had some like fixed wings come down. They got on the air right before we hit it and said, "You need a show of force." They came down and raked this compound like you ain't never seen, dude. And they hit them afterburners. All the people came out because I mean there was, you know, dust and smoke, and you can just, it vibrates everything. I'm sure everything on the walls were off. Anyway, that's another story.
So it's just a jet that came down and just buzzed them.
And I had Blackhawks and Apaches. We had Blackhawks, Apaches there. And we had this, we were trying to work in the Iraqis with us, of course, but we didn't trust them. So like the IP or the Iraqi army and stuff, but we were doing real missions. So there was no trust. We were like, yeah, whatever. You're staying on the striker. Yeah. So like we put them in the least, striker we could get so that we could talk a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that was just crazy. It was weird, but we built a lot of relations. Oh, the story I was going to say was, so this oil guy, so afterwards we built this really good relationship with him. Super dude, man. He wasn't a bad guy. It was it was somebody else connected kind of thing. Really good guy. But he had all 8 of his kids come up and kiss me on the mouth one time.
Huh.
And I was just like, so my interpreter is standing with me, But I built this relationship, and I had a picture of me and the kids, the wife, and that I held in my wallet, and it was always on me. And
yeah.
It was like a thing, So they value family, obviously. There's a lot of things I love and respect about them people when it comes to family and how they value. There's also a lot of stuff that needs to stop immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I showed him this picture, and we built this thing. So one day, all 8 kids come in and kiss me on the mouth. And I'm like, oh. And I knew we were friends now, but, and the interpreter's like freaking out. And it's like they all lined up, straight line. And just boom, boom. And the interpreter's like, dude, I've never seen anybody have this happen. And I'm like, what does it mean? He's like, you could come back here when you're 100. And you're their family.
Wow.
He's like, they trust you that much now that, and intel, that was good.
Yeah.
You get intel on the back, you get, build trust with the good people.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, what's happening in the town. But that was kind of our, it was, I had the best team ever. I had the best group ever. My LT was a cop. So, and he was just like way more mature than some of the young LTs that just come out of college. Not that they're not, but they have to do more work.
Yeah.
But when you've already been a Jersey cop, do key leader engagements, interrogating people and all that stuff. Right, it was like, yeah, he's good to go, man. We're rolling. No, I had a great team. Yeah.
So when you're in Iraq, let's see, Hussein has already been dealt with.
Yep.
And so you're in a role of just getting intel, but at the same time, you're kind of assisting the Iraqis at that point.
Oh yeah.
At that point, was there a clear goal set at that point?
Well, I think there was. I mean, you got to understand there's levels, and I can only take over what my lane is,
Yeah.
And I tried to do the best in my lane, and I knew that we weren't there to go and seek and destroy everything. I knew we were going to get hit. I knew we were going to have contact, but our goal was it had wind down. So, we want to, because Americans don't go over there to kill nobody, y'all. Right. I mean, we don't pick a fight. Right. We're not going to go dominate another country, right?
Sure.
So when you're fighting us, we will destroy whoever is fighting. You do not want to do that. It's bad juju. But if you're a good person, America's fair, man. Yeah. Like other countries ain't, But if you're a fair person, we see that. We're about as close as a just country that you can get when it comes to
That's right.
Let's just say life and death. You know what I mean? Still believe that to this day. I know everybody has all their problems, and we could all do better. But we'd have nothing to strive for if it was perfect.
Are you near Baghdad, or are you in towns outside?
I'm northwest of Baghdad, kind of. I think I was just a little bit southeast of Fallujah.
Okay.
It's called Sabah Bor, and back in the day before we got there, it was known as, that's where everybody went to get their combat action badge. Because when you went there, you were going to make contact. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was 80,000 people, and broke up in these Ks and these. We had Western villages, which we dealt with those two. That was under our control. Eastern villages. So we had 3 major sheikhs that we dealt with. My commander was cool. He took care of the one sheikh. When we got there, they all wanted to hit us, because they're trying to keep us, they're running their stuff, man. And it's crooks, you know what I'm saying? But my commander, Captain Adams, he had a conversation with the sheikh, and we didn't get hit by him no more. Huh. Yeah, it worked out. But, you know, we were there to really take care of the people.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a weapon in your hand in war, that's the closest you get to having the power of God in you that you can use, because you can give or you can take life.
Yeah.
You know, and we all know this happens to anybody who goes to war like that. But, you know, everybody's going to change some when they come back. But, you know, two people definitely change when you pull the trigger, the shooter and the man that dies. So, you know, it's just, we had you know, it was overall a really good mission. Of course, seeing how they lived was a bigger shock to me than anything. And, you know, how they treat their women, which is absolutely absurd. Yeah. Okay. Like one day we had to blow up something. We found an IED somewhere. And so we called an EOD and they came in. I'm standing up there and, you know, they have several wives, you know, and this girl, she couldn't have been 18, 20 years old. And her husband was like 65. And they make them do all the work. But this woman was she had to be 9 months pregnant, you know? And so I'd had enough that day. You know what I'm saying? So I just sent a couple of boys and I just went up there and I just let him know, you know, I was like, because she was on a hill like this getting sagebrush.
Yeah.
I mean, and she was down probably 50 yards trying to carry this stuff up a hill. I knew she was like,
wow.
I'm like, we're going to have to deliver this baby on the side of this daggum hill, you know?
Yeah.
But they were just brutal, you know, they're so brutal.
So how do you engage in something like that? Is it, you'd go talk to him that he needs to do it himself? You go
just tell him to get out of the way, official business.
Yeah.
Makes him get her up off that hill.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Well, that ain't none of my business, but you ain't going to do it around me.
It's a little justice though.
Well, it was the whole reason did it.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, she ain't working this hill today.
Yeah.
You know,
she appreciated that. Sure.
Yeah. Screw it. You know, we weren't trying to make nobody want to come up
that's
hit us anymore, but it was but it was good. It was a great experience. Great experience.
How are they making their money? I mean, what are they selling product? Or is it like this, like our economy?
It is somewhat on a much, much, much smaller scale.
Gotcha.
Like, well, if you go to Baghdad, you're going to see a city.
Sure.
But it's not New York. You know what I mean? Like it's got airports and all that. But in the towns, like I lived in a town of 80,000. You know, they have stores and, you know, it's just like everything, but they'll be selling like gas in a 2-liter bottle, you know, and then the one oil gas station down there, it's pumping oil out of the ground. They're making it right there, bro. It wasn't pumped in. It was pumping right there.
Wow.
And they have massive tanks. And that's the dude that made me, you know, all his kids kiss me. And, but yeah, they make it right. It's just, you know, it's just, they do have stores and stuff but you know, like their fish, you know, they just throw it on a blanket out there in the heat, you know, and people, 100,000 flies around it, people picking them up, taking them home, you know. I'm sitting there going, oh, I'll throw up. Yeah, it was gross. They don't live, they ain't the cleanest people, let's put it that way.
So I don't know, you have,
no, go ahead.
The tough part of this, so you're all through that, and if you don't want to discuss about it, that's cool too. But I know you're a wounded warrior, and was that in Iraq? And then
yeah, it was a very odd thing that happened to me because it wasn't like I was blown up there and got medevaced out. It was ended up being, you know, seizures, and I had issues, physical issues that I was hiding because I wasn't leaving my guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't going to happen. Was not going to happen. So, you know, we went there, but a bomb they had hit somebody with an RKG-3, our sister platoon, one of our sister platoons.
And an RKG-3, that's like the old school grenades? Is that?
No, it's actually Russian made. It's a handheld shape charge. It kind of looks like a great big Campbell's soup can, and it's got a stick coming out. And when they throw it up, once it comes down, that parachute deploys, and that ignites the igniter, and then that shape charge melts through up armor like it's butter. So, like, you know, you have these plates this size on the side of the striker, but when they hit the driver, you know, it took his leg off. I mean, it just went right through to the driver because he's lucky he didn't die.
Yeah.
But then so we deployed. We were QRF. We were just right around the block. We came. I got down with my guys. I ran the ground. I had Alpha and Bravo team deploy. Let's secure the area, do normal procedures. As soon as we got down, one of my guys, Wicks, saw saw another RKG that they had thrown, didn't go off. It was a serious explosive. Like you don't just pick it up, dude. So I'm like, call EOD. And then EOD came, Mark Bot with her Mark Bot, put C4 all over it, went back to the truck, and I had already put the ramp up on the striker, and my LT and my commander was still down. They were trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? Because this is a big deal for, you got to do a lot of crap. And so I just dropped and went over there and said, hey, guys, they're getting ready to blow it. Because it was already, I'd done a deployment with the OD. I already know, and I was in explosives, so I know what they do with that stuff. And I'm like, they're getting ready to blast. We need to get out of here or button up. Everybody button up. And then it just went off. So it didn't, I didn't get no shrapnel or nothing. But I went back in my truck and I sat down. And Harrison, he ran our trucks. He was another E6 at the time. And I just told him, I said, hey, take the ground. Because I didn't really, it shook me so hard I didn't know. I remember all this.
Yeah.
So I didn't get knocked out or anything. And then I looked at my gunner, Hanner, and I was like, you got anything to drink or something? And he gave me a red Gatorade. I don't know why I remember all this stuff. But I was in such shock, because I was like, whoa, I was probably 30 feet from him.
Wow.
And it was just like, I couldn't think or something. It was like trying to catch up with my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I realized Harrison, I didn't really want him on the ground. He'd been in war too long. An amazing warrior, amazing person, amazing father, all that stuff. Love him with all my heart. But we didn't want him on the ground. A little trigger happy at this point. So, we're trying to keep everything to a minimal here. You know what I'm saying? And so I remembered it, and I was like, I just got on the radio and said, no, negative, I got the ground. So then it was, I don't know how long. But then my brain, I started losing my memory a little bit. And then I fell in a hole. We thought guys were burying weapons. So we deployed a Bravo team, Alpha team. I was leading Alpha team. We went down and I fell in one of their irrigation ditches. So with nods on, ready to, I didn't see it, and curved me real bad and got my neck and my back, which I didn't find out for years, but I lived in pain. Like through Walter Reed, never found it. And it was broke, like now my neck's metal.
Wow.
But it was like, I just, I couldn't leave. So I went back to my job in the regiment. At this point, I'd become, a guy that could pen and ink things, like as an instructor, which I went to a school to learn how to write TSPs, run pilot programs, do all this stuff. But I couldn't keep up, so I'm keeping all these paths, and I'm trying, and used to, I could remember everything. I didn't have no problem at all. So I got, one day out in the field, I was training a guy to be an instructor and just went down.
Wow.
And then I just had seizure after seizure, and so eventually they got me to Walter Reed, and then they really started working on that part of it. And then found out a bunch of other injuries that I've been hiding, and so right now it's all good. I'm good to go. But yeah, that's what happened to me. It wasn't like it wasn't I was shot up or but it was just a long, difficult story. It's hard to tell people because
man,
in a way, having an invisible. Well, I had other injuries, but like having a real invisible injury that dictates your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Like when I ask you a question, if I have to re-ask a question, it's because I just lost everything.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I just try to get back on track because that's what happens to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a great life, and that's just what happened in Baghdad, and the rest is just because, life happens. You got to either roll with it, pick yourself up, or you're going to go down with it, You
said you had a wife and 3 sons. Are you at Walter Reed and you have that because they were in your wallet and you had a picture of them? Is that difficult on them, obviously, or are you?
Okay, so yeah, I did. I had my 3 youngest. There's 5 total that I have 2 bonus children that I've remarried since. Cameron is the one in the Coast Guard right now. But at the time, I had 5 kids. So my oldest was playing baseball in college, and my youngest was working somewhere else. But the other 3 lived with us still. So they lived in Walter Reed with us for over 3 years.
Wow.
And I tried to die a couple times in there. I did one night. They had to come get me off the bathroom floor, seized up and lost so much blood that they had to shoot me up with like, I don't know, dude, it is crazy stories, man. I don't even care about that. But the Lord has been good to me.
Yeah.
That's all that matters in this life, you know?
Yeah.
And all that stuff just built, he had a mission for me, you know? And what I'm doing today, I look back over everything, like I lost my wife, you know? We got out and I just thought differently, you know, and then more, and then just seeing everything and then just doing everything. And then the pain, which they didn't even know my neck was, you know, and I went through both hands and all my shoulders. I lived in this forever, you know, and my back, which is cut and fixed now. But it was just, it happened. And
is that around 2015? Is that
2016 is when she left. Yeah. Oh. And so I went and lived in the woods for 18 months. I had no money. I had nothing. So let's get back to the kids. I'll talk about that later. I'm telling you right now.
Man, these stories.
Oh no, you don't even want to get that.
No, awesome.
That's when I meet the dude living down there that holds me at gunpoint. Okay. Which we all fixed up. Whole nother story, man. But, so my kids are living at Walter Reed with me. You know, they don't have any private education for them. I'm nothing but living in the hospital, you know, nonstop, in and out, in and out. I had a lot of procedures there. And so that was difficult. But, you know, we had like I always talk about the Nationals because like the Lerner family and Mike Rizzo and Bob Boone, Bob Boone, who's the assistant there. Those people love their veterans, man, at Walter Reed, bro.
Yeah.
And like they took me and my family. There was 3 kids, me and my wife, almost to every home game in the presidential suite.
No kidding.
So if you look from like 2010 to 2013 at a home game, you can see me because I know everybody there. I know the chefs. You know, that's where the chefs are.
Yeah.
Like it's like $500 a ticket. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they get $2,500 worth of tickets every home game, bro. Yeah. And I'm a baseball lover, and my sons are too.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really did help heal me. Like America healed me.
Yeah.
But not the sad thing is, I've got these stories, but dude, the guys I run into that have not been taken care of, bro, it will make you lose sleep. It will give you nightmares of, you know, America does try, but our standard operating procedures for reaching veterans in trouble, it's broken.
Yes.
And, you know, that's why I dedicate my whole life to this now. Luckily, you know, now, this is years ago in 2016, you know, I lived in the woods. I was helping veterans. I was running stuff from Texas. I went to Texas for 6 months, started an organization out there called Gideon's 300. Then, but while I was in, because we couldn't get education, we actually started, I have another nonprofit, which is called Mayor's Military Kids. And we started that in, was 2013 or 2014.
And was that your nickname, Mayor?
That was my call sign.
Your call sign, Mayor?
Yeah.
Mayor's Military Kids?
They give you your call sign when you earn it, and that's what I earned.
You were the mayor?
I was the mayor. I would talk to the officers, and nobody else would. Because we lived with a bunch of hardcore guys. You know, we didn't really deal with officers too much. We were always training. We ran our own show.
Yeah.
But when we'd break stuff, you know, like
somebody had talked to them.
Oh, man. It's bad because that's literally because we had to teach these scouts how to drive these Humvees through the water.
Yeah.
You have to forward, you know, it's called forwarding. You check the bob and all this stuff. I mean, we do whatever it takes. We're America, right? So we're driving through creeks. Who cares? Build something that'll make it. You know what I mean? We're America. So we'd break fan blades because people would tidal wave it. And it was water come back up under and snap those fan blades. Well, the chief didn't like that. The head of the motor pool. So all the guys hated Chief, hated him, you know. And I was so sick of hearing it one day because I was a new guy. I hadn't earned my call sign yet. And so I was just like, give me the dadgum keys, man. Like, I'll go talk to him, you know. And Lawver, who gave me my call sign, he's like, do it then, you know. So I went over and I took a sheet. I made a checklist because I wanted to check my own vehicles in. I didn't want them guys at the motor pool doing it because they didn't even check the proper stuff. They just look for dirt. I want certain things clean, you know. I'm picky. So I went up to Chief and had this. I said, dude, why don't you let us check it in? He's like, well, how are you going to do that? And I handed him down this list. He's like, that's awesome. It was more than what they did, you know. And I had to do this, and I personally had to sign each one, and then he would never check anything. So I walked back down, and he gave me my own set of keys. I walk in doing this with the keys, and Lawler's like, how'd you get, well, didn't you give him the keys? I said, nah, man, he just gave them to me because we got a deal now. We don't have to deal with him no more. He's like, you're the freaking mayor.
And that's how Mayor's Military Kids, that's the name.
Well, Mayor's Military Kids, yeah, that all came from our kids not having options while we were at Walter Reed. And we are a Christian family. So my brother, one of my brothers, owns a company called Renew a Nation. And they're all over the country. And they're a big part of why we have tax credit and all that stuff. His name's Jeffrey Keaton. And so I called him and I said, Jeff, you know, this is a problem I have. And Jeff said, I want to do something for active duty and Wounded Warriors at first. Now it's veterans as well. But I said, I want to take care of their kids because some of these schools weren't, you know, I'm not bashing their schools, but some of these schools aren't where you want your kids, you know, and at least me. And I feel like I'd earned the right to put them where I wanted. Mm-hmm. And, so we started Mayor's Military Kids. It's free Christian education. We have online. We have people all over the whole country. We take care of people that aren't near military bases that are still active, that don't have any support. We have homeschooling with like computers where they're actually taught by a teacher. We have, you know, we pay for actual bricks and mortar schools.
Now, is this only for like military kids?
Yeah, military active duty and Wounded Warriors.
But they get
military, active duty, Wounded Warriors, and veterans.
But they get a Christian education kind of online, remote across the country?
No. We pay for bricks and mortars too. We just adapt to whatever military situation there is because we have a standard of what a military base looks like in the education that's there, and it's good. You know, they have good schools on these big bases. Yeah. But a lot of guys don't live on big bases.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the schooling's on them, and they might be in a city. I don't want to be downtown D.C. and send kids there. I mean, I don't. That's just awesome resource. I'm a country boy. That's too much stuff for going on over there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to deal with that with my children, and my children are my prized possession. So that's right. What else was I going to do? Yeah. Just say, oh no, you know. But my brother and his group, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like they're a great company, and they have the right. They do everything for the right reasons. And it's been going. We average between 30, 35 scholarships a year.
Wow.
So, and that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. We don't even have actually very many homeschoolers on that, but we do some guys that are still active that are in remote places and stuff. Yeah. We do whatever we got to do, you know, to do that. Because I'm a firm believer if, you know, you can't make us go to a public school and then dominate what we're going to teach. Yeah. It's not happening, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the America I would die for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not happening. And these are my kids. And I love you, America, but there's some things that need a little bit of fixing. And so Renew a Nation has done a phenomenal job. I mean, them people, they, you know, I don't even know. I just came up with a good idea. That's about it. I try to raise money here and there, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I stay in contact, but it's self.
Now, so what I was talking to you a little bit about too, you also do something down at Mariners Landing. Is it something you got going on down there, or is there?
This is my passion now.
Yeah.
And so I got out of Texas and my wife had left me. It's 2017. My brother pastors a church here called Eastlake Community Church.
Oh, yeah. I helped
That's
design
my brother,
some of
Troy.
that stuff.
Yeah, we're 2 years apart. He's been my guy my whole life, you know, and so we came back and I called him and you know, I was just no money at this time. Nothing was settled. I didn't even want to take the money because she had the kids. Of course, they were already, my one son was graduated high school, so she really had the two young girls, which were already in high school as well. And got me back here, and I didn't have my VA benefits. I didn't even know I qualified for them. Mm. So that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? And I came back here, and Troy said, let's live the next 30 years together, you know?
Oh, man.
And so I said, all right, and we're polar opposites and a lot alike, if that makes sense. I'm military, he's a preacher, but he's competitive.
Yeah.
You know, he would have been a Green Beret officer or something, you know, he's an athlete and everything. But so I did. And then I met my wife here, and we just, you know, I would have never written this story for my life.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've been blessed so much that it's like, you know, you can't be anything but thankful for everything. And I'm here right now, man. Yeah. I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a blessing.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that's, I'm a blessed man, dude, but it's been good. Smith Mountain Lake has embraced me. And then Charlene Jones, who's a Remax realtor, she's like, I call her the female Donald Trump of the lake because she's a businesswoman. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we got to know each other. And so she kept bugging me, get into something, you know? And Troy told me, he's like, don't lead anything for a year. Because and it was the best, you know, because he knows I'm going to do stuff because I'd been helping veterans and all this stuff. And I was in zero place to lead anything. And I told him, I said, Troy, I can't even lead myself. And he just laughed at me, you know. I said, but, you know, and I actually waited 3 or 4. I started in 2021, you know, got home, got back in church, got all my benefits, which I should have walked out of Walter Reed with, which is a whole nother story. But that was a big reason my wife left me. Financial stress with young kids. I had one son in Fort Union Military Academy, which was paid for from somebody, I guess, that I had done something for. I don't know exactly what it was, but I don't even know who it was. But so we lived in Palmyra. And I had a beautiful, you know, brand new Cape Cod home on 5 acres. And I went to make a little extra money with my best friend from Indiana. I got 2 best friends. We grew up together since we were 7, Aaron and Dave. I came back to an empty house. But it was, you know, the money, not understanding my injuries, not having clear enough guidance on that stuff and help was just too much to bear, because before all this happened to me, you know, I was a different person. You know, I was, you know, I never, you know, I slept 4 hours a night and everything got done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was different. And so, but to think I come back here and then we were sitting around the American Legion that was here from 2010, me and another, I'd found out where their meetings were. And actually, Troy had always let them just have a place because they didn't have a building to meet at East Lake. And so I went over there. Nobody showed up. I thought, what's going on? You know. So another guy was there. So the next meeting we go, he wasn't there. The other guy's actually there. I'm running there, and he calls me. Nobody's here. And I'm like, let's start it back up. So we call the state, find out that they'd already turned the chapter in. Everybody had resigned, turned the chapter in, and. So only reason, so let's make this very clear. The only reason I used the American Legion is for 2 reasons. Secondly, or, you know, not the most important, but it is important, is our voice on Capitol Hill. Yeah. We have an office up there, and we get to be the voice of almost 2 million veterans in our database. But the most important thing was the service department. So it's we get a VSO, Veteran Service Officer, trained through the VA, certified. And then we can actually, when I find them, so I'm usually the one that's in the dirt, right? That's where I like to be. But now I have the most amazing team you ever heard at this Legion. But let's start back. So we called them, we got it. 5 guys swore in. Or wait, 2 ladies, 4 guys, 2 ladies. We swore in August of 2021. We had our first meeting at Drifters. Ryan and Jacqueline, they let us he's a veteran as well. So they let us in, and we meet there. We start, you know, with like 10 or 11 guys, and it just started running. But the premises on which we run it is this. So we don't wear their hats. We don't wear their medals. We don't wear suit coats. Okay. I could care less. I'm going to be honest. Not that it wasn't important and didn't have its time. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody that's went before us, because they've done this at the Legion. But our generation, we just, you know, that's just, dude, come on. We were flip-flop shorts and tank top when we're on the lake. But you need help? Yeah, we're in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we don't do any of that stuff, but we build a team. We run all of our programs, our meetings like S1 through S6 shop in the military, which is all the different shops that have to report to the general. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we run it just like that. We don't run it per the American Legion. But we went from 5, and at last meeting this month, we're at 172 members.
Wow.
We have so many. We have admirals, generals. We have sergeant majors. They're all special, but you usually don't get like the special ops guys to come and play a lot. But seeing that we're under the radar, and this lake is very special.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of great people around this lake, and it's just blown up. But like since we started, report to date, this past the second Tuesday of this month, we've brought in $20.6 million to our veterans' pockets from the service department. Okay. And that means lifetime benefit value. So if you say the life expectancy of a man right now is 79 years old. Okay. So if he gets $4,000 a month at 50 years old, so take that times his lifetime, and that's called the lifetime benefit value. So, because it's permanent. Once we get it for you, get it the rest of your life. So we've had, so that's how much money we've brought in just from our service department. Really in the last 2.5 years is when it started with the service department. This is our 4th year, but we didn't have that before. And Dr. Kristen Swenson, my favorite person in the world. Now, I love her to death. She came in. She was a colonel in the Air Force, medical physicist. Her dad was a World War II prisoner of war. Married to her mom till they were 75. Then he passes away, and her mom marries another buddy of his that was a prisoner of war, and they were married for 20 years till they were 95. And Kristen loves both her dad and her stepdad. Yeah. They love unconditional. So she's on a mission to get all these veterans their benefits. And you talking about a sharp woman, dude. Oh my goodness. She is you gotta be on your toes, bro. She is so good, and she does not play games. She's got a lot of clout. She doesn't cheat the system, but she gives everybody a fair shake. So that's the whole reason we wanted the Legion. Mm-hmm. This is our mission. Our mission statement is 2 words, and we don't have anything else in it. Help veterans. Yeah. We don't care. Like we've been working with this homeless guy. We just got him a place to live, had him in a hotel. I don't want to say somebody worked with us. We got him a place. He'd been in his car, Vietnam vet, 70-some years old, doesn't drink or smoke or nothing, living in his car for 6 weeks. Took us 2 days for him to stand up straight in the hotel. Because, we did health and welfare. We check and everything. Great guy, but this is the community we live in. The lake is so supportive of our Legion. And we just, right now we have an event going on all week. Matter of fact, when I leave here, I have to go pay a bill because we have 9 people in right now using the lake. And this is just one avenue of what we're doing, and that's the active duty side. So we're not just, we're also using Smith Mountain Lake to help the people that are doing real missions now to, get away, take a breath, tactical pause, and relax for a minute. So, but yeah, it's been a wild ride with all this and the Legion, and like Jeff Prowse is our commander. He's the owner of Mitchell's Point Marina. He didn't need to be. I had to beg him because he turned me down 3 times. I'm the XO. I don't ever become the commander. You know what I mean? Because I'm an operations guy. I know my lane. And we have so many, I got admirals and all these other people. I'm like, no, just sit in the seat, make sure the meetings, he set us up. I'm like, we need to set up S1 through S6. And he changed the face of us, and then, but yeah, we have a lot of fun, dude. I literally work it nonstop. Like if I'm on vacation, the only time I'm not working something, it's crazy.
Man, you keep serving. Really, you just keep serving.
I think once you're a servant, I don't think you can get away from it. Yeah. Even when I thought I was hiding in the woods, and I met Andrew, man, and he had his dog tags, tattooed around his neck. He's a Marine, in combat boots and shorts, living off the Ohio River in a little blue right there at the mouth. Living in a 1970 Winnebago with wood stove in it, no engine, and no outhouse, and no electricity. And he just killed deer and ate fish.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But he was on meth.
Yeah.
So he couldn't live with his demons because like a month after he got back from his last tour, he was on 3. He stayed on because he couldn't come home, After Fallujah freaked him out, and then they put him on mortuary affairs. I'm like, why'd you do that, man? Like, give the kid a break, But he was off, and then we built this whole relationship the whole time I lived in that woods. And looking back, it has to be the Lord giving him to me.
I was going to say, not to get personal on how you do that, but how does someone that's meth and had all that in their head, how do you get them back to civilization?
Love them.
How do you build them? Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, come on. We greet all of our veterans, this is our motto, with love and acceptance, and do our best to leave them with hope and confidence.
Oh, man.
Love is the greatest healer of all. Judgment is the fight starter.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
Like they know when they're right and wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not God.
Yeah.
I'm not judging them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jesus tells us to love, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a preacher. I'll never be a preacher. But I'm just saying, like, I try to be like Christ, even in combat, you know, with pulling a trigger or not pulling a trigger. You just don't. I carry that kind of with me everywhere, you know, because love always wins, dude.
Yeah.
You might seem like you're losing, but just give us some time. You know, if it's real love, who's going to whoop you?
You're an amazing guy, Brian.
Yeah.
Only by the grace of God.
Well, you're listening to Life, Liberty, Happiness. We're here with Sergeant Brian Keaton. Hopefully you'll come back on the show. This is just a snippet for the fans to listen
I would absolutely be honored.
Okay, great. Well, we'll definitely have you back on. But before you leave today, we always finish our guest with a question.
Okay.
If you could choose anybody, whether it's present, past, anybody in history, if you could choose one person to hang out with one day, you get 24 hours with them. Who is it, and where are you hanging out with them at?
Oh, I'm going with Jesus. I want to see some miracles. I want to see the time he stood out there and got so tired and went to the tent and nobody paid attention. And Mother Mary finally went over. I want to hang with Jesus. I want to see those lives changed.
Wow.
Think about that, dude.
Yeah.
Think if you had you were crippled.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I mean, I went to Iraq to keep peace. I went to Iraq to fix things.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate fixer.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to, oh man, no doubt and not even a question.
Yeah.
If it was a person other than Jesus Christ, I want to hang with Abe Lincoln.
Oh, man.
You know, because I think he had more pressure on him from a nation. Mm-hmm. And he was the first white dude to actually stand up for African Americans. And I know he wasn't the first. There was people that loved him and helped him and all this. But in that setting.
Correct. Yes.
In that setting and with that amount of power and with the nation divided.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a pretty godly thing to do, don't you think?
Yes.
Absolutely. Love them instead of treat them like slaves. I mean, you know, it's a terrible sin of our nation. But the thing about sin, you know, God is you can sin, be forgiven.
Yes.
You know, none of us are perfect. But if it was a person, it had to be Abe Lincoln. If it was just anybody that's been on this earth is Jesus.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us on the show.